would call myself a pretty Buffett pure play investor. I see the company I'm starting, Blank Investing, as the antithesis to Robinhood. And so our mission is to tangibly reduce the wealth gap by bringing intelligent investing into the mainstream. Yeah, I still hold Tesla. I've never sold a share from when I bought in 16. People will read the consumer reports before they buy a refrigerator. They'll understand everything, they'll read the reviews, but then they'll hear a stock tip on the back of the bus and put half their life savings into it.
Welcome, everyone. This is Mariusz Konieczny. I am chatting with David Flanks from David Flanks YouTube channel. David, thank you very much.
Hey, thanks so much. Really excited to be here.
Okay, so you became a self-made millionaire by the age of 30. You run a YouTube channel. Talk to me about your investment style. I think you got inspired by Warren Buffett, but let's get into it.
Yeah, I would call myself, a pretty Buffett pure play investor. His later Buffett. I'm not reading, 1,000 pages of Moody's manuals and going super deep like Buffett did back in the 50s. But I've read every single one of the letters. I think your audience is more intermediate, advanced level investors. If they haven't read the letters, I cannot recommend them enough. There's so much wisdom in there. But yeah, what I try to do, I also take a little bit of the Peter Lynch approach as well. Invest in what you know what you owe, and why you own it. So that's a big thing in my strategy. In 2012, I used Amazon a lot. I used Facebook, used Google. I invested in those. In 2016, I got in my first Tesla and thought, oh my God, this is the iPhone of cars. I made an investment in Tesla in 2016. 2021, I had friends that were working at Palantir. I'm former military, so I had friends, who joined Palantir from the military, and made the investment in Palantir in 2021. Now, obviously, that's just the good, right? There's obviously bad investments throughout, a 10+ year journey, but I can talk about the bad ones too.
Yeah. What do you mean when you say, "Are you tired of Wall Street screwing us over"?
Yeah, that's a great. So Robinhood was. I really, and I have full disclosure. I have a position in Robinhood, and I just took it in April. But really, I see the company I'm starting, Blank Investing, as the antithesis to Robinhood. Robinhood's mission is good. They want to democratize finance for all. They're really clear about that. Where they aren't clear is in helping investors do due diligence, understand why they're investing. And it's because they're incentivized not to do that. If you look at their annual report, the number one way that Robinhood makes money is through selling options contracts. So, and we know individual investors, especially the audience, their average audience age is 35 years old. Younger, less experienced investors, I think it's a reach to say that they should be doing options contracts. They're historically more risky, greater chance of loss. Yeah, the upside's there, but what does the average individual know that Wall Street doesn't? Specifically when you're talking derivatives. Right.
Doesn't Robinhood make money by selling a flow, the information?
Yeah, so that's payment for order flow. That was, a lot of people think that's the primary way they make money. Really, it's like the third or fourth way. It's options contracts, and then cryptocurrency, and then I think it's payment for order flow. I'd have to pull up my research to confirm that, but yeah, it's down the list, and that's the one that Congress has scrutinized, but it's not.
Okay, so the number one way they make money is by retail playing options.
Yeah, by selling from the premium derived from selling options contracts, right? I believe that they manage their own option. I mean, it's a public options chain, but it's through selling contracts.
Okay, so then in terms of they're trying to democratizing investing, but then you're saying, but not helping people, with the research. So what could individual investors do to get better at that? What did you do to get better at that?
Yeah, it's there's a really great Charlie Munger clip. It's like 30 seconds long, and he says, at the end of the day, I'm summarizing. At the end of the day, what we're looking for is a business that we can understand. So it's in our circle of competence, that has a great management team, that has a durable competitive moat, and is trading trading less than its intrinsic value, given a margin of safety. And he's like, that's all we're doing. And you can find Buffett clips going back from the 80s where he's interviewed. He say, this isn't hard. It's so obvious and boring that a lot of people overlook it because you're looking for. I heard this one analogy once. Being a value, and you could probably, I think you'll get this. Being a value investor, you're kind of like in an old rickety car driving down, a highway in the right hand lane, and then when you see someone who's doing, derivatives or some crazy stuff, some currency, stuff, it's like a Ferrari burning by you at 90 miles an hour, at 110 miles an hour. And every guy wants to look over and say, "Man, I wish I was in that Ferrari." But the Ferrari will also, crash out a quarter mile later. So, I like my old rickety car.
Yeah. Uh, Not too long ago, I would say 2010, it was cool to be a value investor.
Yeah,
Uh, I would say it's not cool anymore right now.
yeah, yeah. And I think a lot of people would say that value has historically, underperformed growth. That's where, and this is, I love this train of thought. I call myself a Buffett-style investor. I'm looking for a great business trading at a fair price. That is within my, that's within my circle of competence, either through my profession or passion or anything that and then it's, trading at a reasonable rate, right? I don't say value investor because to me, a value investor is the Benjamin Graham. Is it trading for less than its, whatever he used, a net, right? And finding a net these days is extremely hard, and there's usually a very good reason why it's a net. So, I the underpinnings valuations matter. We saw that in 2022. We've seen it in 2019. We saw it any crash when the tide comes in is when you see who's been swimming naked, right? But yeah, that's so I don't call myself a value investor.
But also I find it interesting that I think that putting a label on somebody on value investing is not necessarily the right way, because I mean, I consider myself a value investor, but if you look at others looking at me, they would probably say he's not a value investor, because people think, oh, value investors, I have to buy companies with a P ratio of 10 or less, or
Yeah.
or net or this or that. Like, for me, a company that just because a company is trading for 100 times revenues or 1,000 times revenues, or the company that has no revenues, or a company that has negative net income, that doesn't mean that it's overvalued.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you have a company that has, let's say, a very good technology that solves a major problem, I can look 5-10 years down the road, and I can envision what they could look like when more companies, more people adopt this technology, and I can structure an income statement in my head and be like, when they reach this, they're cheap based on today, but when you look at, oh, the revenues are nothing and it's trading at 100 times revenues, or it's overvalued. No, that's the wrong way of looking at it.
I completely agree. Especially, P ratio is a static figure. It's a snapshot of a moment in time. If it's trailing PE ratio, or if it's forward PE, it's still just looking at either the previous 4 quarters or the next 4 quarters based off of guidance. It you don't. So if earnings are growing at a substantial rate, well, and especially to your point, 5 to 10 years down the line, right? Time's on our side as individual investors. PE ratio ignores that. So yeah, I think PE ratio is one of the most misunderstood financial metrics. Hugely important. I'm not saying that, but just because something's trading north of 20 or trading north of 100, it's okay. I mean, I bought Tesla in 16. I think the PE ratio was over 100, and I saw how it was growing. I saw their initiatives into storage. I saw their initiatives into solar. I saw their initiatives into the gigafactories. This was before Model 3 and Model X were available. Excuse me, Model Y were available. And yeah, I thought the same thing.
Are you still in, are you still do you still own Tesla?
I do, yeah. I'm he's got me. I think that I haven't added to the position, so that shows where my confidence is at. But yeah, I still hold Tesla. I've never sold a share from when I bought in 16, and I think that I mean, Kathy Woods is saying, with $30 trillion market cap if they can get autonomy. That's completely ignoring robotics. Of course, Kathy Wood does give lofty valuations, but I think that I own a Model 3. I love that car. I have a degree in mechanical engineering, so I love, automobiles. And the engineering feats of my Model 3 are just fantastic. Glass roof to reduce, weight. The flush handles aren't purely for aesthetic. It reduces wind drag. The hubs over the tires also give you like 5% more range. It's just a well engineered and well designed piece of technology. I love it.
What other stocks do you like now?
Yeah, so I think similar to you, I haven't bought. I bought one stock so far in 2025. Right, one of my favorite indicators for where valuations stand at any point in time is the Buffett indicator, which in beautiful Buffett simplicity, all that does is takes the Wilshire 5,000 over GNP, and when it's above, I think he says when it's above 190% is when you could get in trouble, and we're over 200% right now. So there's definitely opportunity out there, and I'm looking every single day for it. I think this is the kind of time when you do start applying valuations because we're hoping for the economic skies to turn dark and let us buy stocks at great prices. But yeah, I bought Robinhood in April when there was broad market decline due to the tariffs. So that's the only stock I bought in 2025.
This year, okay, okay. And tell me about your shirt because I know you have
Yeah.
a flankinvesting.com. Can you talk to us about this?
Yeah, it's my shameless plug for a company I've been working on for too long. I've been working on it for 4 years now. We started hiring people, got started getting really serious about it in 2024. So it's been 18 months of really really grinding, trying to create something of value. And the whole idea is that we all see it. People around us are smart, but then and they could invest well. Peter Lynch says, people they'll read the consumer reports before they buy a refrigerator. They'll understand everything. They'll read the reviews, but then they'll hear a stock tip on the back of the bus and put half their life savings into it. I think there's a better way. And so our mission is to tangibly reduce the wealth gap by bringing intelligent investing into the mainstream. Similar to what you do with your programming. I've watched a lot of your podcasts. A lot of your videos. Fantastic. So the idea is just make people aware of what the circle of competence is, and then research businesses that either through how you work on, like through your passion or where you work or what and we give you the steps that Warren Buffett would. We give you steps similar to a Buffett-style investing approach. Break it into 5 categories: understand the business, check financial health, assess for an economic moat, evaluate leadership, and determine valuation. There's sub steps in there that make it a little bit, I think there's like 15 steps overall, but we give you exactly what to do to look at. We give you the financial figures to see, is the business growing? Well, is net income, revenue, total equity, and free cash flow growing at greater than 10%? That's a good, North Star metric to see how the business is growing. We give that to you in a consolidated table. And then there's aside from just doing independent research, we want to make it community based. So it's just like Reddit. If you logged into the screen, you would see a bunch of flankers writing analysis on companies that they are interested in. So that gives you kind of, if we're looking at the individual investor, specifically the less experienced individual investor, I think having that community feedback, kind of someone watching your six, is really, really valuable.
Do you have the capability of share the screen to show us
Yeah,
anything?
yeah, absolutely. Um, Share screen. Window. Blank.
Yep.
Can you see it?
Yep.
Yeah, so just 1 hour ago, one of our users wrote on, is Microsoft's business growing? And if we actually go to the step that we made for it, I should go full screen. She just did this step, which is looking at this table. So what we think is a good way, and this is borrowed from rule number one, investing, but we think that you should have all these metrics should grow at 10% over over the 10-year period, the 5-year period, and the 1-year period. And so Microsoft fits that bill with 14% annual CAGR for the last 10 years, and it's accelerating at 17%. Same thing for revenue. So this business is doing well. I don't think I'm the first person to make that supposition. Valuation would really matter with Microsoft, but yeah, we have people researching, and if we go to back to the wall, it's the same thing. I wrote a post a couple hours ago, and there's the financial analysis component to it, but then also just observing the world around you. I travel, like I have Zen in front of me right now. I had some personal tragedy happen last year or 3 months ago, and I've been using nicotine to kind of just give myself a little kick in the butt when I need it. And so I go to Germany for work, and I talked to a Korean flanker today, and I asked them if they have Zen available, and they don't. I can't get it in Germany, I can't get it, and they don't have it in Korea. So I see that there could be an opportunity. This is the first step of my research, but yeah, this is one of I'm going to be researching Philip Morris in the next couple of days on Flank because I think that
So people
yeah.
people on Flank on the community, they share investment research with each other.
Yeah, exactly. And it's as simple. It can be this is the actual breakdown of the steps. So even though I bought Robinhood stock, I'm only 46% of the way through my formal research. We don't make, you make your own determination on when you're ready to buy the stock. I do have valuations. It's just it's on a separate post. But yeah, yeah. So you perform your own steps of the research. You share it out with the community, and it creates some really good dialogues.
And how many how many how many different companies do you have access to? Is it like thousands?
Yeah, we have the New York Stock Exchange and the Nasdaq in its entirety. We want to open up to the OTC, excuse me, to the OTC markets, specifically for ADRs, so we can get the
Hmm. International
Volvos or
companies.
yeah, get some international companies in there. That's been a feature request we've gotten. But the OTC market just has a lot of data, and parsing through that data and making sure that it's a good experience for our users is a technical challenge that we haven't prioritized yet, but we will be.
So what gave you the idea to start flankinvesting.com?
That's a great question. It's lived in. So I think the greatest television show ever made is Breaking Bad. And Vince Gilligan at the end of Breaking Bad, when they were filming the final season, he said, it's kind of a bittersweet moment. He's like, I'm sad that this show's wrapping up, but I'm really excited to get Walter White out of my head. He had the character of Walter White just stuck in his head for like 10 years. I was frustrated as an individual investor that I couldn't. There's a ton of places that will show you all the data you want. There's a ton of places that will just slap a research, you can get Yahoo Finance, you can get, institutional grade research from them. You can get full pages if you just pay, their $30 a month or whatever. But there was no place to have a real conversation. Reddit's a good start, but Reddit just, the good due diligence just whizzes by you like bullets, and you can't lock into a company, and you don't have a place to store your research or track your research. Make sure you're, like a checklist manifesto, where you can actually see, okay, yeah, I've done all these steps. So I figured if you could give a little bit better of a systemic approach to investing, give a little bit of form to it, still give the creative functionality. You can create a general, like this post I made on Philip Morris. That wasn't tied to a step. That was just me talking about a business, giving people that latitude. I think that Reddit has. I think that you make it a little bit more specialized. We like to say we're Reddit. We're financial Reddit, just with souped up with steroids.
Okay. My final question is, where can people find you online, and any final thoughts?
Yeah, the you can find me on YouTube, David Flanks, Instagram, David Flanks, X, but we're not too active on there. Really, it'd be Instagram and then obviously flankinvesting.com. That's the best place to find me.
And any
And
final thoughts?
yeah, I just want to say thanks for everything you do. This is my first time doing an interview. I definitely am nervous, but it feels really good to talk about something I've been working on for 4 years. And I really appreciate you and your team, getting in touch with us. And I hope this isn't our last one. And we'd love to have you on the David Flanks channel at some point.
Yeah, let's do it. Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely.